Oh, hey. I was thinking about Subway flatbreads recently. I don't know why. I haven't had Subway in many years at this point, but for some reason the flatbreads were really standing out to me. And I was like, I think I have a flatbread recipe. So, in this video, I'm going to be showing you 3 different flatbread recipes. One for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, look at that. It's breakfast time. Let's go ahead and get started. So, it's probably been roughly 4 years since I put out that grilled cheese video. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out up here. But in that video, I showed you how to make like a flatbread, essentially. It's bread texture and it's flat. What else do you want from me? It was one of the easier recipes I had at the time for sure. And the idea behind the bread for that grilled cheese was really just make something that could be readily available or just really easy to make. The way we're gonna make this really easy to make is to start with 3 ounces of ground pork rinds. This will be enough for us to have 3 flatbreads. And this is the simplest way to do it. There are products out there that are, already pre-ground pork rinds. So yeah, we have our first ingredient for our 3-ingredient flatbread. So we have 1 ounce of pork rinds, 2 eggs, and a half teaspoon of baking powder. And honestly, I don't know if the baking powder is the most necessary part of this recipe, but it does act to create a little bit of airiness to the quote-unquote bread. So I just use it for that purpose. If you're uncomfortable using aluminum products, I understand. I'm not gonna judge you if you omit it. Now, just take a fork and show your dominance by whisking the absolute trash out of it. All right, it should be rather runny when done whisking, but while it sits, it will start to thicken up. So while it's still wet and like pliable and formable, I'm gonna get my baking sheet that's been lined with a silicone mat and go ahead and pour this right into the center. And I want to just start spreading this out into a rectangle. I see a little piece of eggshell. You can get out of here. Nobody wants you. After I'm done forming this is let it sit for about 5 minutes just to let everything kind of hydrate. So I've got my oven set to 375. I'm going to throw this in there for about 5 to 7 minutes or until it's just cooked through. This is steaming hot. I'll let this cool off. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to get the breakfast portion of this flatbread ready, which starts with bacon, obviously. So I really just want 3 pieces, so I'm gonna get that out. And again, convenience. I feel like flatbread should be a convenient food. I'm gonna cook my bacon in the air fryer because I don't want a big mess everywhere. Feel free to cook your bacon however you want to. Just make sure it's cooked all the way through and to your likeness. I'm putting this super thick cut bacon into my air fryer at 375 for roughly 10 minutes or until it looked like this. And while that bacon was in the oven, I went ahead and got a couple of eggs fried up. And don't forget to season your eggs. I'm feeling a little smoky today, so I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of smokestack. This is from my company, Carnivore Companion. And we can go ahead and begin assembly. The breakfast one's pretty straightforward. I really just want a couple slices of cheddar, lay down my still hot eggs, and then finally add our bacon. Crown your king. Looking pretty damn good if you ask me. You can obviously go anywhere with this. This is just what I would put on a breakfast flatbread. And I won't keep you waiting any longer, so let's give this thing a taste. It never ceases to amaze me what pork rinds can do, and I forgot how bready the texture is. I mean, just look at that texture. No one's done. We're gonna eat this. No, see you at lunch. All right, another meal, another flatbread. If you don't remember the recipe, it's 1 ounce of ground pork rinds, 2 eggs, preferably no eggshells, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and finally, a passionate forking. And if you don't know what kind of flatbread we're about to make, it's going to be an Italian flatbread. So, keeping on theme with that, I will get my batter out onto my non-stick surface. I'm going to make it into a nice little rectangle, like usual. If you don't have it there already, set your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And for this special flatbread, we're going to sprinkle on some of this Italian seasoning right to the top of it. Don't really have to measure this, just give it a little sprinkle. And I also think that this deserves a little bit of cheddar cheese, just right over the top as well. And I want that to bake into it. It's giving me that Italian herbs and cheese vibe like I get from Subway. Go ahead and get this to your oven at 375 for about 5 to 7 minutes, or until it's looking a bit like this. Cheese is melty before we even begin to make our sandwich. I want this to cool off completely because I do want a cold sandwich, and this will work well if you want to make this one the night before for your cold sandwich, but that's up to you. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. And I want my presentation side to look nice. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to work on this side. So the first thing that I want is going to be some whipped cream cheese. You don't have to use this, obviously. Sandwiches are always going to be a choose-your-own-adventure game. And I do think I'm going to hit it with just a little extra Italian seasonings. I want that flavor to really come through all the herbs and stuff. The next thing I'm going to use is some Black Forest ham. And don't forget, this is going to be folded over. So I'm going to pick a half and just start folding ham onto it. Also want a little bit of salami on this. So I don't want to go too heavy on this. This is already going to be a pretty salty sandwich. Just a few pieces. And only a few pieces because I also want to add some pepperoni. And then I want to finish that up with some pickled banana peppers. This one's very optional. I just want something to cut through all the fattiness, and I think this will do a great job. Oh, let's get this bad boy folded over as good as we can. And that's what we're left with. It actually kind of looks like a Subway sandwich, like something you'd get from the actual store. And it's kind of big too, and I think I want to cut it in half. Now that is a cross section that is what I wanted. Give our little Italian baby a taste. See how it is. The herbs really stand out the most to me, which is crazy. I think literally just adding a little bit of extra flavor to this made it much closer to bread. It almost neutralized the pork rind. Like I barely taste the pork rind flavor, and I know that's what dissuades people from eating this type of stuff. But damn, like just the little bit of herbs added to it really cut through that. And what I love about this is that I could definitely make this the day before. Like this is pretty cold. Make this, wrap it up, stick it in the fridge, take it with you for lunch. It's a solid meal. Damn, I'm gonna call that one a major win. And I'm really happy I made this. I think you should make this one too. Yeah. It is finally dinner time, and I'm making a cheeseburger flatbread. I don't know if you even saw this one coming. I know I did. You know why? Because I'm the one that's making the video, that's why. I do have a hamburger bun recipe, and it's a little more complicated than this, but I don't always feel like making a hamburger bun with the ground chicken and the pork rinds and the eggs and all it's just a lot of extra steps when I could just, you know, combine the things I already have ready to go, which is an ounce of pork rinds, 2 eggs, and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Because all I have to do is put those things in a bowl, fork them together, dump it out onto a lined baking sheet, rectangle it off, let it rest, top it with some dried chives, some coarse black pepper, and some flaky sea salt. Should look a bit like this. Gonna throw this in the oven at 375 for about 5 minutes or until all the batter is set. So all we gotta do now is let this cool off, and while we're letting it cool off, we can go ahead and make our burger patty. Do this however you want to. I'm just gonna do mine like this on the pan. You're doing a Blackstone, season up wherever you want. I'm gonna go with some steak dust from my company, Carnivore Companion. Throw that down, let that cook. That's all you gotta do. And once it's to your desired temp, we're gonna throw some trash cheese on top. Let that melt, and then we can start to assemble our cheeseburger flatbread. I went ahead and threw a couple more pieces of trash cheese down on the technically bottom side. I want this to be presentation side up just because it looks nice. Get my little burgie on there. Fold it over, and we can give it a look. It's looking pretty solid if you ask me. This is obviously a simple concept, but I think the chives and black pepper and the salt are going to work well. I won't know until I give it a taste. So cheers. Yep, did the job. Did exactly what it needed to do. Needed to be cheesy. Needed to be burgery. The little onions and the black pepper come through nicely. The crispy salt that's flaking off of here adds a nice little texture to it. And the bread's bready. But yeah, couldn't ask for more. I really enjoy this. I'm going to go eat my dinner. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was just 3 really quick and easy and really tasty carnivore meals that you can make at any time, honestly. So if you want to see more ideas with these flatbreads, comment down below, let me know, and maybe I'll end up making those one day. And as always, the best way to support the channel directly is to go to CarnivoreCompanion.com. We sell seasonings with no BS ingredients in them. We have 5 flavors currently with a growing line in the future. Use the code CarnivorousChef at checkout to save 15% off your order, and we'll see you in the next one.